Hello and welcome to this Tango video tutorial about Colgadas. We are Iris and Helmut and our studio is Atelier SOL in Vienna. We will see the first option to end a Colgada from the Apertura. So I create the out of axis position here, I continue and I exit with the position of the backward ocho. The second possibility will be to start from a forward ocho position. The first position out of axis will be this one. We continue one more step out of axis and then we get back with the forward ocho, very often used to create a parada. And as a bonus, we will invite you to play to have a continuous chain of colgadas. So for example, from the forward ocho, we continue and again, we are creating a forward movement in this chained version of Colgadas. Let's get started. What's the first thing we need to practice? How to go out of axis. As with many other sequences, we use the idea of mirroring. So if we are here in axis, I move myself back to create the position out of axis. I suggest that first you practice it without touch, so you feel this is the amount you can go back without falling yourself. And I would suggest afterwards, just go a little bit further than that and don't go to the extreme from the very beginning. Important to notice, we are not pushing back our butt, and we're not pushing back like a cornetto, just our shoulders. So the pelvis and the shoulder blades both are going backwards. And the third aspect is we're not going and sitting down. It's not a chair pose. We are growing also in that. So in this back, if you're familiar with our images, I also have a kind of butterfly position connected with that. Next step is to take the embrace in a symmetric way, and as before, we create this position. So now it could be a little bit more extreme. You can be also a little bit closer first. We will also start to have the apertura in close embrace afterwards for the sequence. And from this position, I go back. Now the next step is that the follower is leading it. So I feel she's going back and I'm positioning my axis in a way that it's balanced. If she's getting out of it, I'm getting out and back to axis again. Play with different levels of outside. Can be more extreme, can be just tiny, small, bigger. Feel you can sit or you can expand with that. Today we are using the structure of a hero to put the Colgada, and for this idea I would like you to use more this expanding energy. Now, third exercise is that leaders take away their arms. So now she's holding herself and I'm sending her back by moving myself back, but she's relating and taking responsibility that her arms are connected to her back. Of course, later we will be in the embrace and I also hold her. I will not drop her.
Don't do it.
But it's good that you practice it, because one common mistake, do it please, is that, and she's really falling and I need to hold her. No, I create the space and by that it's not heavy at all. It's really just any prolongation of almost position in axis. So one more time, remember we have the image of the goalkeeper where the elbow is approximately where the rib cage ends. And we have the exercise with the Pilates circle where we practice the same. Also in Colgada, we don't want to change that. So pay attention that in a Colgada, I don't want a movement where the elbow suddenly gets stretched. Feel, and especially now followers, how the elbow and the part where you enter, lock it once. And now I can create more, but that we don't immediately go to that, then we will fall and it will be very hard to control this. Get back to axis, and gently you grow and you go a little bit out of axis. Yes, this is the amount of out of axis that we will use for the first structure. Once that works, track, and you continue. Now you can go and take the tango embrace. Let's practice the first position after the intro. So I take her in close embrace. We have the apertura, and I start to center diagonally a little bit outside. And we create, you see in the profile, the first out of axis position. In axis, out of axis. I'm not creating, you see, I'm creating, I can take away my arm, just to demonstrate, she's holding herself. While this is happening, I'm walking around her. And now it's important that we keep this out of axis. It's not this moment we get back to axis, because this will make me fall, and then we have a interesting development in the figure. But from the apertura, I create established out of axisness. I walk around, and in her forward step, we are again, I just adjust, we again in the out of axis position. And then with the next step, we get back to axis and a backward ocho to continue. A little bit more fluent. So we have apertura. I establish, I invite her to come, and exit with a backward ocho. One time from the back side of the leader. So we have apertura, I create the out of axis position, I step backward. Usually there is a little sacada that is created just by stepping close to your partner, and from this position we have the backward ocho. Even more fluid, we have apertura, backward, tac, and we exit. One time from behind the follower. Apertura, colgada, stay in the colgada, and exit. Now let's see the second option. The second option is to start from a forward ocho position, and very often I use kind of a sacada to go around and create this sacada, the first colgada.
From sacada to colgada.
A simple way to start could be that it's always like with my right foot I go inside, and I go inside again, and I go inside again, and I go inside again. So by that I can create more stability in the beginning. So we, as before, we arrive and we are in axis, and now is the moment that we start to create the out of axis feeling. Again, followers, hold yourself. So if your leader took away the arm, the position is still stable. As again, we want to grow with it. It's not this kind of colgada, it's for that. The idea is like to lead a hero. So if I was leading a hero, I always want to grow. One more time. So this was our position. And from the growing, we add a little bit outside energy, tack, and we exit with the Forward Ocho, and we said, this is a very nice position to continue with the parada. One time from behind the leader. So we have the Forward Ocho position. I do the little sacada to get it started. If you see, if I'm waiting, the second sacada is just happening without moving, and the exit in the Forward Ocho into the parada. One more time, a little bit more fluid. So we have the Forward Ocho position, tac, and already done. I like both possibilities to enter, especially when you're dancing in close embrace and a milonga. You just do a apertura, you create the space, and you enter into the colgada. And it can be really small, and afterwards you continue to dance again in close embrace. I would say this one is a little bit easier to get established. Also, the exit with the parada. But yeah, most important is that you have to feel, is your partner reacting to this suggestion of changing the position of the pelvis and the rib cage. To finish, let's have a look at the continuous colgadas. We have the apertura, and from there I lead the Forward Ocho, and now I want to have always tac. A forward step could be with left or right to continue. Track, back, track, tac. And we continue. Everything that we said from before also applies. It's just now if we have a strict pace that we want to follow, we have to be more exact of how much we turn. In this case, I would start a little bit open and start with a sacada that is more close to the new standing leg of your partner. Here we go around, track, and again, tac. Now I change the leg, tac, and we continue. I would recommend to use it 3-4 times, not 9, otherwise you will get very dizzy. It fits for tango, it fits very nicely, of course, also for valse. We hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. If you have any questions, write us a comment and we'll get back to you.